Keeping your customers happy for retention purposes does not mean violating your boundaries or that the customer is always right, but it does mean that you will need to ask yourself if X little thing, which costs you nothing but might make your customer happier, is worth giving. Welcome back to On the Horizon. This is Melrose Michaels. I am your host, and I'm here to share what's worked for me in building my adult creator business to try to make building yours just a little bit easier. Let's get into today's episode. Hello and welcome, everyone. This is our weekly podcast. A while ago, I actually asked you guys, the CEO squad, what topics you'd like me to cover. And one of the topics that was mentioned on that Twitter thread from one of you was retention. And we have spoken a lot about retention in the past, whether it was, past Twitter spaces or in Twitter threads, etc. But I don't feel like I've gone really in depth or at length on the topic. So today I really wanted to not only explain what retention is, but also how you can increase your own and some tips and tricks to kind of hack it. So to kick it off, let's define what retention is. So in business, retention means keeping your customers. So when you sell a product or service, you want the person who bought it to keep coming back and buying more. This is important because it's much easier and cheaper to sell again to someone who's already bought something from you than it is to come up with a whole new customer. Now, I want to clarify, keeping your customers happy for retention purposes does not mean violating your boundaries or that the customer is always right, or that you should sell yourself short in any way. But it does mean that you will need to ask yourself if X little thing, which costs you nothing but might make your customer happier, is worth giving. And spoiler alert, it almost always is. And that's because any gesture that makes your fan or customer feel special will keep them subscribed for longer. Now, I also want to reemphasize that, again, keeping a customer, or in our case, more often a subscriber, happy and resubscribing is much easier than convincing a new person to subscribe that's never subscribed before. So for the duration of this episode, whenever I say the word customer, I want you to think subscriber. I'm doing this because I really want you to start to associate what you're learning with mainstream business terms, because it can be really easy to forget that your subscriber or your fan is a customer, which when we do that, we lose sight as creators and we make mistakes. And I think that if you reframe your subscriber to being your customer, it's going to help you remember that they're a customer and interact with them as such. When a business does a good job at keeping their customers, it has a high retention rate. This is usually a sign that the business is doing well. Retention for adult creators specifically is incredibly important because, as we know, it's very difficult to grow on social between, deplatforming, shadow bans, whatever it might be. So again, I'm going to emphasize this one more time. I'm doing this for three different moments because it's very important. It is easier to sell to customers you already have than to create new customers, especially in our case, or especially for a smaller creator who, we're trying to promote on social, etc., or who doesn't have the financial resources to spend wildly on things like social promo or shout outs or other means of traffic for new customers. If you're enjoying this podcast episode so far, please take one moment to share it with another one of your adult content creator friends, because you know what the rule is here. We do not gatekeep, and we want to make as many adult creators' businesses as easy as possible. And you sharing this episode with them might do exactly that. Thanks so much in advance. So again, making sure you keep our customers is very important because creating new ones is difficult. So especially for the smaller creators listening today, this topic is a really important one. So for the rest of the episode, I'm going to dive in to 10 strategies that we can use to improve customer retention on our fan sites. Provide exceptional customer service. Being responsive, empathetic, and proactive customer service can build strong relationships with customers, aka subscribers, and increase their loyalty to your brand. So providing customer service doesn't mean that the customer is always right or that you need to violate your boundaries. I need to mention this again. I want to make that very clear. But what it does mean to me personally, is that I will always do a little extra beyond what is required, especially if it costs me little to nothing every time. So every custom I make pretty much has extra time included on it. I will send audio replies in DMs randomly for free. I will send safe for work content randomly for free. And why? Because I want those customers to feel that they get so much value from just being a part of my fan site that they never want to leave it. If you're in a position to be able to do something similar, I highly recommend you do. The other part of this is being empathetic and proactive with your customers. And this is important because you're going to provide an exceptional experience when you do this. When I have fans on my fan site who've been subscribed for a long time, but say they'll tell me that they have to leave for a little bit due to financial restraints, I show empathy to their situation by telling them how much I understand. And then I am proactive by giving them an individual discount to stay subscribed. Why do I do that? One, they've been a loyal fan for some time already. I only offer this typically to customers who've been subscribed for 6 months or longer, because the reality is if they cancel their subscription, that's $0 a month. But if they remain subscribed at a discounted rate, that is still something. And also remember, you can always upsell them in DMs. I don't know about you, but I always prefer to have something to nothing. And usually the fact that I make them feel special by doing this and they feel heard and validated in their human experience of struggling financially, they stay loyal for much longer and they spend more generously when they bounce back from their situation. I'm playing the long game with my customers because, again, it's hard to create new ones. So I'd much rather keep as many that I've captured for as long as I possibly can. Now, let's talk about the second way to increase customer retention on our fan sites. Offer exclusive content or benefits. So regularly offer unique content or exclusive benefits to your subscribers to make the subscription feel special and valuable. Offering exclusive benefits is a phenomenal way to keep customers rebilling, whether you raffle off a custom video to a subscriber that has renew on each month, or you send a specific piece of content out monthly that only renew on subscribers get to receive. You should be giving extra value to those who keep renew on or rebill on month after month. After all, this is behavior that is positive and you want to positively reinforce it. If you want to offer something that is not content, say you already do too much content, you're behind on customs, we're a lot of us listening are in this situation as well. So if you don't want to offer content, you can offer benefits instead. Some great examples of benefits are things like priority DMs, meaning you respond to those users more quickly than users with renew off or rebill off. And this one, there's not a way to label, fans priority. I guess you sort of can, but this is something you say that you're offering and you just try to answer DMs in general as fast as possible. So this is almost one where it could take no extra work from you, but it's something you say that you're offering as a benefit. Another one could be a free written sexting session each month. You can do any number of things that can count as a benefit if you choose to not do content. So you can think creatively on what you want to offer. Just make sure that there's some additional value for staying subscribed and active on your fan site so that your customer second guesses anytime they want to leave. Next, we're going to dive into strategy number 3. Engage regularly. Regularly communicate with your customers through direct messages and comments on your fan site. If you're not using DMs on your fan sites, or you have chosen not to only because you see other creators promoting no PPV pages or no PPV DM fan site pages, I assure you, this is not the right move in my experience. More than 80% of my fan site revenue is made in DM, and that's no matter which fan site you ask me about. And beyond that, I do a lot of consulting for up-and-coming agencies or really established agencies, and I assure you, out of the pages they manage, many of which those fan site pages are earning over 6 figures a month, so 100K plus a month. 80% of those pages' earnings are made in the DMs. So I'm really not sure who started the fad of the no PPV pages, but majority of those creators are absolutely leaving money on the table. What makes fan sites special isn't that we post content there. We also post content to clip stores. We also post content to tube sites. What we're selling on a fan site is not content. It's access to us. That happens in the DM. Now, what I will say is when I'm talking about engaging in DMs, I'm not suggesting sending out a mass message for unlock 5 times a day. That is not what I'm promoting here. I'm suggesting actually chatting with your fans and upselling them on content that's locked within those authentic conversations with relevant content that is contextual to those conversations. So for example, if you are sexting and telling a fan that you're touching your breast, insert a photo for unlock of you touching your breast, because that makes sense per the conversation that you are having. It is contextual. That is what makes the big money, not spamming your customers. Now, one caveat I will mention is for the creators, the few creators who choose to have no PPV or no DM pages, the reason they might be making that choice, which is justified, is if they don't want to deal with the time intensity of being in DMs, because it is very time intense. That's absolutely true. You can still have a fan site that is subscription only, that you're just posting to, etc. You're leaving a lot of money on the table. So the no PPV pages are typically going to only be of value for creators that don't want to spend all their time in DMs, because they're making probably so much money off the subscription due to the sheer volume they have, the sheer amount of subscribers they have, which isn't the average creator. This is for like the celebrity influencers, things like that. For them, it doesn't make sense because that much volume at scale in DMs is unmanageable. For the average creator or small creators, really focusing on DMs is going to be huge for you. I also try to be active in the comments on my feed posts on my fan site. So I will respond to every single comment saying either thank you or answering their questions, etc., to demonstrate to my subscribers that I'm seeing them in the comments and I will reply to them, which teaches them to repeat that behavior of commenting to begin with. And that will increase the engagement on my fan site as a whole. Now, let's discuss the fourth way to increase customer retention: implementing a loyalty program. So rewarding long-term customers with a loyalty program that offers benefits, discounts, or special content. This is similar to what I mentioned in strategy 3 about offering exclusive content or benefits, but this I want you to think about on a grander scale. Think about a loyalty program that rewards your 6-month, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year subscribers, and also the people that have had their subscription on and spent a ton of money on top of it. So basically a way to reward long-term rebilling customers in a unique and special way. You can do this by making a post on your feed that names all of those long-term subscribers and tags them, especially on Onlyfans, or in recognizing them publicly just has a lot of benefit. A lot of our fans and subscribers or customers love to be recognized publicly. It gives a praise impact or effect, and it's great for community building and audience building. And you can also offer some type of reward on top of that. So maybe they get a free custom for every year they keep rebill on, or an exclusive video that only goes out to 1 year subscribers or 2 year long subscribers or 3, etc. Whatever you decide to offer, make sure it's exclusive to those customers that have been loyal for those long periods of time. Now, strategy 5 is going to be about something a lot of you listening struggle with. Maintaining quality and consistency. Ensuring that the service or product you deliver consistently meets or exceeds expectation. In the case of us being adult content creators, our service is whatever we offer in DMs, like sexting sessions, for example, and our product is our content. Maintaining quality is very creator specific. Amateur, low quality content does tend to perform way better. If you're a creator like myself, you may put out super aesthetic or cinematic content. So quality is really going to be your own personal expectation of what style of content you like to create. However, at a baseline, I'd suggest the technical quality of whatever you're creating to still be 1080p. And that's all I'm going to say about quality. Consistency is the part of the equation that most of us struggle with. But if your customers do not see you consistently posting, they are going to feel like they can't count on you or that you're not running your fan site like a serious business. That sentiment will spread with your lack of consistency, and it will erode trust between you and your customer. As soon as your customer sees you skipping posts on your fan site or that you've gone inactive in DMs, because remember, they pay monthly for access to you, not strictly content, it makes them turn renew or rebill off because they can't trust you to show up, post, and engage, so they'll think to themselves, what am I paying for? You have to really think about your target customer and how they'll think and they'll feel. I recently had an experience actually with a YouTuber that I love to watch content from. I'm not going to say who it is because you guys will judge me for it. But they upload content every Wednesday and I tune in faithfully to see their content. I look forward to it each and every week. I literally will reward myself after a productive work day, which I'm sure some of you also do with your favorite shows, by tuning in and watching their content. However, there were 3 weeks where this YouTuber just stopped posting. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was so frustrated because each Wednesday I looked so forward to watching their show, and each Wednesday for 3 weeks straight, I was only met with disappointment. And you know what happened? I stopped checking in on week 4 to see if they posted a new video. That YouTuber's lack of consistency untrained me to associate Wednesdays with the reward of their new content. And in only 4 weeks, they lost my view across each new video they posted thereafter. Now think about your posting schedule with your fan site. Do you even have one? Do customers know when they can expect something new from you? Or have you been posting inconsistently, eroding their trust, and teaching them the negative behavior of no longer tuning in? This is why consistency is so important. It can genuinely make or break your business as a creator, whether that's as an adult creator or a mainstream one. Strategy 6 for customer retention is personalizing the experience. Use customer data so that you're able to gather and personalize the customer's experience. Tailored recommendations or customized content can make the service more relevant and engaging. And I'll also add, it can increase the revenue. Now, the language I just used, like customer data and tailored recommendations, is very mainstream jargon-wise, but we can apply this strategy to our adult businesses. So first, let's talk about how we can gather customer data. One great tool for this, which we have linked in our bio if you scroll down to the bottom, is FanWire. This provides you stats on your fans and data that can be really useful to know. Now, I know some of you here may not have, software in place like that, and that's okay. An even simpler approach is taking really good notes on your users. So when a customer tells you their name, you should add it to their notes. When they tell you what kind of content they like, you should add it to their notes. When they mention their favorite color, their birthday, their job, their location, their religion, their hobbies, and anything else that seems relevant, you should add that to their notes because you are creating a customer profile for them. Now, why do we do this? Because when you can tailor what you say to them and what content you send their way, it will increase the likelihood that they unlock and pay to open it. Here's some examples of how I would use the information I just suggested that you add to their notes. If a user isn't responding to my DMs, I'll include their name in the reply. Hey, insert customer name. It's been a while since I've heard from you. I really hope you're doing well. If they've told me they like something specific like JOI content, and I see that in their notes, I'll make sure majority of what I send their way for unlock is that type of content. Or similar to it, maybe I vary the typical vanilla JOI with my dom or fetish JOI to see if they also like that. If I know their favorite color is blue, I will be sure to push new photo sets or videos to them where I'm wearing blue lingerie. If I film something that references their location or their vocation, their job, say something like they're from New York or they work in construction, and I have a video filmed in a hotel room in New York or in a construction type of cosplay outfit, I will push that content to them. If I know their religion excludes the celebration of holidays like Christmas, I will make sure not to send them Christmas-themed content. If their hobbies include something like gaming, I can make sure to push my gamer girl themed videos their way. Creating a strong customer profile, aka keeping exquisite notes, is how you can tailor what you recommend to them for unlocking. How does this keep them retained for longer? They feel like you know them. They feel like they built a relationship with you and a rapport with you. And the average fan who feels highly connected is not going to want to lose that by unsubscribing. Now, let's discuss strategy 7 for customer retention. Use feedback effectively. Regularly solicit feedback from your customers, and more importantly, act on it. Customers feel valued when they see suggestions being implemented on your fan site. Asking your customers for feedback is what will make you more revenue as an adult creator. Think about it. If you make more of what your customer wants and less of what they don't want, you stand to earn more money. It's a fairly simple equation. So how do we ask or solicit feedback? You can do this with polls on your fan site. You can send out a mass message in your DMs, or you can create a post asking for feedback in the comments. However you do it though, make sure that you also take into consideration what they ultimately say. You're not expected to change everything you do as a creator or to violate your boundaries. You may notice the direction your customers are steering you in is something that you just haven't thought of, haven't noticed, or simply overlooked entirely. So take the feedback that is valuable and implement it where it makes sense to. How this helps with retentions of your customers? Well, if they get more of what they like and less of what they don't, they're more likely to stick around. Separate from that, they'll feel like a part of something because you validated their feelings and you implemented their suggestions. It makes your customer feel heard, like they matter. And after all of that, of course, it leads to them being retained for longer. And I'll give you a bonus one too. This isn't written down. I'll have to add it later. But something I'm going to start doing for Onlyfans is every explicit video I post to my feed, I'm going to include a poll that's attached to it with the option more of this content or less of this content. Every video I post, my fans can vote on if they want more like that or if they want less like that. So that when I go into the following month to sort out my content calendar and what I want to be creating, I have all 30 days of that data to suggest to me what I should be making the next month. So you could absolutely implement that for yourself as well. Strategy 8 is going to ruffle some feathers a bit. Offer flexible pricing. Provide a variety of subscription options to cater to different customer needs and budgets. Offer a lower priced option, aka a retention offer, to prevent customers from completely leaving if they can't afford your regular subscription price. This is where I tell everyone who's listening, if you do not have a retention offer on your fan site, go make one right now, today. What I mean by flexible pricing is not having 3 tiers of fan site subscription. That is not what I mean. The more variety you offer in terms of subscriptions will convert to lower sales. That's the psychology of it and why I personally only have one public subscription price and nothing else. You can't buy, a subscription to my fan site for 3 months at a time. You can't buy it for a year. You can buy it for $24.99 each month and rebill, and that's it. Now, on OnlyFans specifically, you can create a subscription offer that is only for expired fans and that only expired fans can see. And this is what I'm talking about when I say retention offer. So for example, on my OnlyFans, if you expire off my page and then you go to resubscribe, you will then see an offer for 60% off my fan site for the first 30 days to resubscribe. This retention offer is not available to new subscribers. So those fans will never even see it on the page unless they've already expired off of it. So this is a great way to lure back expired fans because again, you'd rather give a discounted 30 days and capitalize when that rebill hits at full price than lose all of the revenue as a whole. That is why we implement retention offers. Now, the second caveat to this is to promote your retention offer to your expired fans. By now, you should all know how important it is to follow back your fans on OnlyFans specifically. There is even now a setting on your OnlyFans to auto-follow back your fans and stay following them even after their subscription has ended. Make sure you have that setting turned on. It is under subscriptions and then under, I'm going to look it up right now. You go to more, you go to settings, then you're going to go to fans and following. And the top option says auto follow back my fans. That should be turned on. The option under it that says unfollow when the subscription has ended should be turned off, toggled off. Make sure that you have this setting correct. And once you are following fans back, you can target only those expired fans with a mass message. You can do this by creating a mass DM and selecting it to send to following and to exclude your fans list. So again, you're going to send this mass message to your following list and you're going to exclude your fans list. That is how you mass message expired only users. Your mass message to them should say something like, limited time only, 60% off my page to expired fans who resubscribe in the next 24 hours. Now, it doesn't have to be 60%. You can choose what your retention offer looks like. That's going to vary for each creator. It also doesn't have to only be valid for 24 hours. Your retention offer should always be valid. You're just saying that so that more people act on it more quickly who see it in this mass message. And then you're going to also make sure you include your OnlyFans link. This is just your normal, regular link. There's nothing special about it because remember, only expired users can see this retention offer on the page. So it's not a special link. It's just your normal OnlyFans link. Now, if you want to get really fancy, which I totally support, use a campaign tracking link so that you can see the data on how many people claim your retention offer and resubscribe. Little pro tip for you. Now, moving on to customer retention strategy 9, easy onboarding. Make the sign up and onboarding process as easy as humanly possible. A smooth start can set up a positive tone for the entire customer journey. Now, we can't really change the way adult platforms onboard our fans so much. We don't have a ton of control there, but we can make it as easy as possible to get them from social media to our platforms and to get them from new subscriber to first sale as fast as humanly possible. So let's talk about getting them from social to our fan site as fast as possible. The biggest thing to focus on in terms of conversions from social to fan site is reducing the amount of clicks it takes to get from starting point A, being social media, to destination destination point B, being your fan site. In a perfect world, this happens in one click. So for example, a Twitter post can link directly to your OnlyFans. That is a true one click from Twitter post to OnlyFans. Now, if you're using a link tree type of thing, say in your Instagram bio, for example, it may take more clicks. One click on the link in your bio for your link tree. A second click, likely to say you're over 18. And then a third click to actually get to your fan site. That's 3 clicks. And you're likely to lose fans in that process simply because it was too many clicks from point A to point B. This seems really silly, but it makes a massive difference. This is why the biggest companies in the world, like Amazon, for example, have a buy now button. One click sale, one click conversion. It's going to do wonders for your business. Now, the second part of this caveat was how easy we can get them from new subscriber to the first sale. So how do we do that? The obvious part is going to be with a strategic welcome message. And we've talked about this, or I've talked about this typically in like sales conversations when we're talking about sales psychology and things like that. But you're going to do this by implementing a really strong welcome message on your fan site. So for those who aren't aware, you typically have a welcome message that you can set up on OnlyFans specifically and most of their platforms too. And the welcome message will get sent to new fans immediately after they subscribe to your page. So my welcome message, for example, says, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Melrose. Before you ask, yes, I'm real. Yes, you're talking to me. And yes, I probably do that. Most importantly, I post new full-length videos daily on my page, but I have hundreds of other videos stored if somehow that daily content isn't enough. And then it says, in fact, if you tip $3.99, I'll send you an explicit video right now. If you tip $8.99, I'll send you 3 explicit videos from my vault. Or if you tip $9.99, I'll send you 10 explicit videos. If you can't tip, that's okay too. Scroll the feed for all your needs. I will be here in DMs when you need me. What's your name anyways? So this is literally verbatim my exact welcome message. If you subscribe to my OnlyFans, this is the message you will receive. So why this is important is because of the sales psychology I have implemented after I say in fact. When I say if you tip $3.99, you're going to get 1 video. If you tip $8.99, you're going to get 3 videos. Or if you tip $9.99, you're going to get 10 videos. And how this makes a new subscriber a sale very quickly is because of the psychology behind it. $3.99 for 1 video, still a good deal. $8.99 for 3 videos, that seems like a steal. But $9.99 for 10, that's obviously way more value. Instead of spending $8.99 for 3, I can spend $1 more, $9.99, and get 10, 3 times the amount of content. That's why most new subscribers, as soon as they get to my page, after this first message, will tip $9.99, and I'll make a sale immediately off of the welcome message. That middle option that I offer, that $8.99, actually, like, it's a real offer. If they tip for it, they get it, sure. But it's priced $8.99, only $1 less than my top offer, to make the top offer seem way more valuable. The pricing, if I had priced that middle video at, say, $5.99, smack in the middle, right? $3.99 for 1, $5.99 for 3, $9.99 for 10, then they're just going to go with whatever option they feel like getting, however many videos they're in the mood to watch. But when you change the pricing psychology to be $1 less or very close to your top to your option or the most valuable option, it pushes people to opt for that option. Most people aren't shopping or spending money based on price. They're actually doing it on the value they perceive they're receiving. So when you price like this, teach them or you demonstrate to them that there's more value in the higher option, which gets more people to spend more money right as soon as they subscribe. So getting them from the new subscriber to that first sale, again, as quickly as possible. Now, let's dive into strategy 10 to increase customer retention. ABCs. Always be closing. This is a sales tactic that can be applied to what we do pretty much in everything, right? Because we're adult creators and sales is what we do. But it also applies dramatically to keeping customer retention high. Always be closing, or ABC, as is referred to in sales terms, is the act of continuously reclosing your customer on the sale. This is essentially you, the creator, instilling in your customer that they need to stay subscribed because of X. Can be what you close them with, month after month after month. The main way I do this is by promoting new things coming up the following month so that customers are constantly looking forward to what's coming and staying subscribed to see it actually come to fruition. So, how do we dangle the what's coming next month, this month, in the present? Well, you can do something like posting to your feed an outline of what videos you're going to create and film the following month. That's just a written post. That's very simple for the average creator to pull off. Or you can post censored photos or thumbnails of what you're going to release the following month on your fan site to give them a taste, give them a little sneak peek. Or my personal favorite, and this is what I am implementing on my own fan site, a video trailer that teases small snippets of each video that will release the following month. I've tested this already one time and had incredible results. But guess what? If you're not consistent enough and not filming at least 1 month in advance, you're not likely going to be able to implement on this one. So if you needed motivation to get ahead and get consistent, this right here, this is it. I am creating jam-packed, action-filled trailers for each future month that gets released on my feed and pinned to keep customers from turning Rebel off, because it'll get them excited to see what content is going to release the following month. I'm also going to send this trailer out, which is essentially a commercial, to all of my expireds with the retention offer, and I'm going to post it on social media, on Twitter. So if you want to see an example shortly, keep your eyes peeled on my personal Melrose Michaels Twitter. I'm working on that right now. So now this brings us to the end of today's episode, and I want to let you know, I know this one is a bit intense. It's a lot of information. So let me first remind everyone listening that there is a written version of this topic, and it'll be released on our blog over at SWCEO.com. I know a lot of you like to listen and try to take notes, and I'm hoping that providing the written blogs for you will kind of allow you to just listen deeply and think critically while these lectures happen, and then refer to the blog as your notes. And then also, I know some of you listening prefer just written word to audio. So again, check out SWCEO.com's blog for all of this organized and centralized for you to go over and then implement on. If anyone listening has questions about the fan site retention hacks we went over today, or wants to share some tips or tricks that have helped them personally with retention, please feel free to request to come up and speak at this time. I also have some anonymous questions I'm going to read over as well. And as we start to wrap things up, I do want to mention I'm going to begin putting out somewhat lower production videos on the YouTube channel, even things like in video form that I've spoken about on Twitter, etc. So that those of you who are looking for more of a step-by-step version, or click this, click that version of what I'm teaching on, will have that resource available. I'm aiming to release multiple videos on our YouTube channel every single week. So again, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. It's youtube.com/SWCEO, and have your notifications turned on so you never miss a new course or video. I do want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has subscribed to our SWCEO Telegram bot. If you haven't heard, SWCEO released a Telegram bot, which essentially sends you daily content inspiration and all the captions you need for your feed, PPV locked messages, clip stores, etc. These ideas are researched by AI so that we have trendy or highly desirable topics from what fans are currently seeking and searching and what's trending. And then the captions are optimized with calls to action so that you increase your earnings and unlock potential with each caption we give you. Telegram bot pushes your daily dose of inspiration to your phone every single morning around 10 a.m. Central Standard Time so that you no longer have to waste your time researching, planning, or coming up with content ideas or captions. The bot takes care of all of it. Lastly, but most importantly, I want to emphasize that all the information on SWCEO we put out for free because we believe in this idea that the more financially successful creators are and the more resources we have as a community to do things like lobby Congress, impact policy, organize, and more. So if you do find value in the content you heard today or the tweets you've engaged with, etc., please consider sharing it to make the journey easier for some of your own adult creator friends. Our only ask is that you retweet our stuff so that I can help as many people as humanly possible. Now we're going to start bringing up some people to speak. I've got 2 requests. I'm going to do this one anonymous question first, and then I'm going to get to you, Ruby. So the anonymous question was, when you get a DM, how do you know effortlessly if this one is to be answered instantly? So I'm not sure entirely in what context this is, but I answer my DMs as quickly as possible at all times. I will prioritize DMs that have tips attached. So I'll go through all DMs with tips attached, and then I'll address all remaining DMs as quickly as possible. So I think that the answer to do you respond instantly is yes across the board, as consistently as you can in terms of like what's possible. So like obviously we all have lives, we're all busy creators, we all have to film, have to edit, have to produce, have to do a lot of things. We have to promote on social, etc. But when you sit down to do your DMs or when you open your phone to do your DMs, whether that be on a fan site like Onlyfans, whatever the fan site, or even on Sex Panther, the quicker you respond, the more money you will make. Those things are hand in hand, always across anything to do with sales. It's the same reason when a lead comes in for, any other mainstream business, let's say a lead for a gym. Someone emails the gym's website saying they're interested, they want to know about pricing. That gym owner will typically call that lead within 5 minutes to close the sale. Anything after 5 minutes lowers your rate of converting and closing the sale. So the answer to how fast you respond is always as fast as you possibly can. And I know that has a lot of pressure implied in it. And I don't want it to feel that way because it's going to be what's possible for you as a creator. But you should know that the quicker you get to it, the more money you're bound to make. So I hope that answers the question in the right way. Let me bring up Ruby Lynn to ask whatever is on your mind. Welcome, Ruby.
Hello. Thank you for having me. And I just want to say that Twitter or Telegram bot is amazing. So people should go subscribe.
Yay! Thank you.
I have a question. I don't know if I missed it or you said it, but when you were talking about sending pay-per-views to your subscribers, as someone who puts nothing for free on my feed, no tits, no pussy, no nothing, how many pay-per-view in a 24-hour period do you think is appropriate?
And you're talking about for mass DM blocked, right? Not regular content. Okay. Right. So definitely, I like that you made the distinction too. And I think that's something I should clarify for everyone listening. So I want to start there. That depending on how you run your fan site, what business model and approach you use, things will be different. So when a creator like Ruby, for instance, who doesn't do any explicitness on her feed, but then capitalizes on PPV, that's one business model. Whereas that's totally opposite for how I run my page, which the way I run mine is unusual. So don't take that with a grain of salt. But I have a high subscription price, and then I include content every day explicit on the feed. So just make sure that you are applying the information that we're giving you today in this, episode or this lecture to also apply it to your specific business model, because things will work differently depending how you run your adult business. Now, to your question, because you're sending out the content locked in PPV every day, I would stick to 1 or 2 mass locked PPV messages that go out to everyone. And that would be typically a free mass message that is like the trailer of your content, unless you post that on your feed. And then the locked PPV explicit content. And then the only caveat to that was if you're doing the trailer on the feed, you could have an additional mass PPV that's locked for like bonus content or an alternative ending or something else to sell them in addition to your explicit video if you make that amount of content, if that's something you do and you offer. So I would stick to 1 or 2 locked, and then anything beyond that you want to do should be based on individual conversations. So you're talking to someone, they're sexting, they're talking about something specific, and you have content like that, then you send the relevant content to them locked in that individual. So let me know, like that's how I would approach it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yes, of course. So this kind of brings us to the end of today's podcast. It would be absolutely incredible if you rated this podcast 5 stars and left a little review. We want to get this podcast to as many adult creators as possible, and you taking a second to leave a couple stars and a review really helps us do that. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.